Hello, hello, Boris here, doing a casual M12 draft. Since this is the first time I'm doing one of these recordings, I thought I'd started things off while I'm still waiting in the queue, do a little bit of blabbering. I'm going to play in the Swiss queues, and I'm going to do M12. I just think that's a better way to play if you're really just trying to learn the game. I can maybe talk more about that later on. Also, I'm going to do the draft live, and then I'm going to do the games themselves based off of the excellent and exquisitely programmed MTGO replay feature. So I'm going to do the games off of that because it's better to make commentary and the games go by much faster if the opponents think a lot. So the draft will be live and the games are going to be recorded off of the recording. So we got 7 people in the queue. We should be starting pretty soon. Alright, here we go with the opening pick. I am a casual drafter. I'm only like a low 1700 player, so the people who benefit most are probably going to be like 1600 or 1500 rated players. So if you are better than me, please tell me where I'm sucking, but also please forgive the fact that sometimes I might over-elaborate certain things. So the rare here is a land, which is not really that great of a thing to take first. Really want to start off with a strong card, and in this pack, there really aren't any. So the Goblin Arsonist is a fun little creature, hardly worthy of a first pick though. The Blood Ogre is nice, the Minotaur Warrior is nice. It's better obviously because it can be a 5/5 versus only a 3/3. I think in my first pick though, even though it's you're supposed to take the strongest card available, I want to take the Blood Ogre here just because it doesn't commit me as much to red, so if I end up playing a deck with 2 colors, my mana base is a little bit better. That's the same reason I'm not really looking at the Garruk's Companion or the Aether Adept. I just want to take the card that keeps me open. And if one of those happens to wheel, then that would be a good sign that I'm in the right colors. Alright, Blood Ogre first pick. Good start, good start. So this pack... Wow, I kind of hoped that the stars would align and for my first recording offer up bomb after bomb after bomb, but oh my god, there's just nothing particularly amazing here. I could just take a random artifact killer and stay in red, or take this white flyer, but holy crap, there's just nothing. Okay, Combust is a nice sideboard card against blue or white decks, but again, that doesn't really seem like something you want to take with your first pick. And the Bloodseeker, I know he has a good reputation. Personally, I find that it's just not that great. So sure, it causes their opponents to lose life, but in these draft decks, which have fewer creature counts than maybe a larger deck and slower play, I just don't find that he does enough. So I'm gonna take the Flyer, just because he. The Flyer, sometimes it's enough. Flyers have an opportunity to win games, so there's at least a chance. Everything else here is pretty meh. Alright, so in this pack we finally have some cards that actually don't suck. So there's the Draw 2 in blue, which is kind of nice. This Master Thief is a nice artifact-stealing sideboard card. I'm going to take the Lawkeeper, though. That's the strongest card by far. It's pseudo-removal, and I'm going to keep an eye out on these big green creatures. Green seems to be underdrafted quite a bit online. So if they wheel, then that'll be a pretty good sign that I can go green and maybe focus on it more in the second pack. But for now, I'll just take the strongest card. Yay for my third pick being stronger than either of my first 2. Okay, so the good news is that white appears to be open, because this pacifism really shouldn't be coming around so late. It's an extremely good removal card, so I'm obviously going to be taking that. But also worth noting, I'm going to keep an eye on all these green cards, the Giant Spider, the Naturalize. It's kind of like the Spanish Inquisition, no one ever sees it coming. And most decks do have something you can target with it for a nice screw you. And this Plummet, another good sideboard card. So if those all stick around, then green is going to be the way to go. Similarly, if this is Skywinder Drake, nice aggressive flying 3-power creature for 3 mana. If that sticks around, I'll definitely be going into blue. And thankfully, my opening red pick wasn't all that big of a deal. It looks like red is kind of a low probability at this point. So let's just grab the pacifism and hope for more awesome cards. Another pacifism. Well, you can never really have too many pacifisms. Again, another nice green creature here. I really like this crocodile dude. 3/3 for 3 is never bad if you can trigger Bloodthirst, and the Island Walk makes him potentially a game winner. This Quicksilver Amulet's a fun rare, but it's just too expensive. I don't really think it looks that great, but tell me in the comments if that's like a bomb and I'm retarded for passing it. Other cards to keep an eye on while I take this pacifism, this Chasm Drake and the Phantasmal Bear. If they make it around, blue would probably be open, because those are pretty decent creatures. And then this Arsonist, if that makes it around, red might be a possibility. But honestly, people do love these Arsonists a lot, so I really doubt I'm going to see that one again. Alright, so here the white completely dries up. And there is Divination, which a lot of people really like. Maybe some people can clarify for me in the comments why this is so good. I just hate spending 3 mana in most of my turn to get 1 extra card. You're, paying this 1 card to draw 2, so you're netting 1 extra card. I'd really rather just have something in my deck that I already like, as opposed to getting 1 random thing from later on in my deck. The Arachnus Web is sort of like a worse and more expensive pacifism, so that's not going to tempt me into green. This guy is too little to tempt me into black, and I know there was no red at the beginning to tempt me into red. So I'm going to go for a green card here, simply because there's a chance that some big green dudes will be wheeling, and I love to play green whenever I can. Well, now of course I wish I'd taken the other green dude, because here's another Acidic Slime. These are really cool. I don't know about playing 2. Although I have been wrecked by artifacts before. The Mastodon here is just not really good enough for me to want to put him in, even though I have a lot of white. If I'm going white-green, then I might as well just stick to the best green stuff that I can. So, between the bear and the elves, I think the elves are better, because they, can help you ramp up and make a bigger difference ultimately in the game than the bear can. I am still tempted by the slime, though. Man, killing artifacts. So good. So good. Now I'm going to go with the elves. Let's do a little bit of ramping up here. Okay. So nothing white or green here. I hate these bang truckers. I read them every time. I'm like, oh, I want that to be good. But it's a 2/2 for 4 where you flip a coin and it might die after tapping it. No thanks. So Ice Gauge is like another bad pacifism. Certainly not a reason to go into blue. This Divine Favor. I do like enchantments more than most people, I think. But, just getting the extra toughness can be nice. It can stall the game while you wait for something good to show up. But I'm going to go for this Manalith, get a little bit more mana fixing, and maybe have the opportunity to splash into another color. Alright, so it looks like that green stuff isn't wheeling. The only stuff here that is playable for me remotely is this big dude for 5, so let's do it. Alright, well we got a bear to come back, and an Auramancer. Now, this is interesting because these pacifisms, if they do get countered, I would certainly love to get one back. And the Runeclaw Bear is cheaper, but they are both 2/2s, and the potential for the Auramancer, I think, is higher. Especially now, I can feel maybe more inclined to take like a Trollhide or some other nice enchantment and actually use it, knowing that I can get it back if my creature does get blown out. Alright, so one of the big green dudes did make it back. I like big green dudes, especially since I have the Manalith and the Elves. I'm pretty happy about getting this guy. 5/6, sometimes you drop it and that'll just win the game for you. Alright, so this is a card that I really want to like, but unfortunately in draft it's just beyond terrible. However, the Naturalize did come back. I'm gonna go for it. Naturalize, you can't quite main deck it, but it is so good sometimes, because people just don't ever expect you to kill any of their enchantments. Alright, well, Cancel is the only moderately playable card, so I'll just take it out and hide it, and then more crap comes in. So not bad. I've got 12 playable cards, so my deck is almost half or more than half built. It's like more than half of the 23 cards that you need to be or sorry, you need 23 playables. I've already got more than half that amount, so now I can really fine tune. That was a miscount. I'm obviously not playing this Blood Ogre. Okay, so I'm 11 out of my 23. I need 23 more playables. I have a lot of room to hopefully just get really good things. Okay, so this pack, much better than my last first pack. I can get another Lawkeeper for more quasi-removal. I do like Griffin Riders. I hope this thing wheels. Because, I only have one Griffin so far, but, like, if you do manage to pull that off, it can win the game for you as a 4/4 flyer for 2 mana. This is one of those things that people sometimes complain about, oh, so-and-so got lucky or whatever, but really, part of the skill of the game is giving yourself opportunities to get lucky. Someone who gives himself lots of chances to get lucky is going to have that come up for them more often. There's, of course, the overrun here. If I am going to do green, I kind of have to take this, and I feel a little bit easier about it knowing that I have Manalith and an Elves, because overrun is obviously a bomb. So, giving everything 3/3 and trample is pretty sweet. I can expect the Lawkeeper to go out of this pack, the Fireslinger, the Berserker. Man, this guy is a killer. And the Minotaurs, so that's 4 cards. The Aether Depth will probably go, and this big old demon. So yeah, I might get back the Griffin Rider. So that means that as the further packs come on in this set, I want to try to see if I can pick up some Griffins, maybe even a crappy one. Alright, no Griffins here, but a number of good cards are coming up, actually. So I like Titanic Growth a lot. It's sort of like a kind of crappy removal, crappy burn, crappy counterspell, all in one. It's like a jack of all trades. It's not great at any of those things, but you can pull it off in some cases. I'm definitely not taking this Warhorse. It's just not up to some of the power level of the other cards. I could triple splash, go for Incinerate. I don't think Incinerate is quite strong enough to make a third color for it, even with the Manalith. Especially since there's other decent cards here. So there's the Titanic Growth, the Crown of Empires, which maybe will wheel. People do seem to underrate that one. I've been blown out by it before. And the Cudgel Troll. So I really like this Troll. It's one of those cards that, it can win a game. It's not a bomb by any means, but sometimes your opponent just can't deal with 4/3 that never dies. So I need to decide if that's better than this really nice combat trick. I feel like I need a good 4-drop, so I'm going to go for it. Alright, having said I need a good 4-drop, this giant spider comes along. So it's obviously good at blocking flyers. I already have, though, a couple of ways, well, one way to block flyers. And I'm much more interested in the Rhino, actually. Maybe not the most popular idea, but this thing is pretty big, and it tramples, it can win a game. The Worm, oh god, I really love the Worm. It's, even a 6/6 with trample is pretty sweet. Now, 7 mana is a lot, so definitely this Stampeding Rhino will make an effect on the game much more reliably. And there's, of course, this Doomblade mysteriously. I guess no one's black in this game. I don't want to splash for a third color when there are other decent things for me to take. I think I'm going to go for... I have a lot of 5-drops already. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Carnage Worm, and that will be my big game drop instead of the Vastwood Gorger. I don't want to play both of those, but it's just much stronger, and I'm willing to pay the extra mana for it. So, wow, there's just lots of good stuff coming here. So the Veteran is nice and aggressive. I find that the fact that he's only a Hill Giant when attacking matters a lot more than you think. Sometimes you do need to be a little bit defensive. Another Lawkeeper is nice. I think now that I have all these big cards, and I'm quite mana heavy, I'm really liking the idea of having another card that can help me keep things at bay. Man, the Rhino, the Basilisk, the Bear, and the Veteran are all good, though. I hope maybe one of them will table, especially since there's other good things to take here, like the Gravedigger and the Hellhound. Okay. Well, here's where the good stuff runs out. So there's nothing super great here. Some people really love this Glade Cover Scout. But he's not unblockable, which is kind of the problem. Yeah, you can put enchantments on him and feel pretty safe about it, but there's just nothing that he can really do if opponents drop any sort of moderately sized creature. So I'm not sure. I could put this Rock Egg down just to discourage people from attacking me. I don't really need another Auramancer. Yeah, let's try this Rock Egg. I've never actually played with it before. Might as well give it a shot. Everything else is just terrible. Alright, well, pretty happy to see some good stuff here. So, man, this Blood Ogre, maybe, is there that much... Okay, so we've taken, what, 5 cards out of this pack, and there's still a 5/5 for 3, and a 3/3 first strike for 3, and the Ether Adept. Wow. And the Assault Griffin is good too. So if that Griffin Rider from before does wheel around, I'm going to want this other Griffin. So that's going to make me more inclined to take this over the boots, although I do like those boots. Alright, so some interesting choices here. I can take another Manolith, and if I do, then I would probably like splash for some other kind of removal, just having that nice source of multicolored mana. Brindlebore, I like them more than most people do, but it's, you know, not on par with, I think, the combat trick or the mana acceleration and fixing. Let's see, I have 11 creatures. Clearly I can pick up a few more in the last pack. So it's down to like the combat trick, which I really do like, or fixing my mana. I'm going to go for mana fixing just because Overrun does take 3 greens, and that can be deceptively difficult to pull off when you're playing even just a 2-color deck. So I'm going to go for that here. Oh, man. Okay. So I don't think I have enough white creatures. Yeah, I don't really have enough white creatures to make me feel comfortable about playing kind of a universal Mighty Leap that costs an extra white mana. That's pretty annoying. I don't really want to play this big guy because I've already got enough big dudes. I actually kind of do like the Kite Shield. It can help forming a defense while you wait for your big stuff to come online. Definitely more than this weird little trick. So I'm going to get the shield. Aha, the Griffin Rider wheeled. Well, let's see, how many Griffins does a man have? Well, I got 2. The Peregrine Griffin and the Assault Griffin. So, is the probability high that that's going to come to life? Nope. But it might happen, and it's just nice to have that opportunity in my deck. Weird, though, that the Ether Adept is still there. People are not in blue, apparently. Alright, well, I'm pretty lucky here. So, I hate the Sacred Wolf. I hate it. I hate that it trades with any 1/1 until you put an enchantment on it, and since I don't have any enchantments, that's going away. I still don't want to play this big dude, although I could have had like 3 of them by now, but this Titanic Growth, I'm super happy to see. It's a really, really powerful trick, and it's just nice to give yourself like more outs and more options during the match. Alright, everything here is terrible. Reclaim, I just want to talk about this card. I think I've seen people play it. So I know there are people out there who think it's good. It's bad. The reason it's bad is that it doesn't put the card on your hand, it puts it on top of your library, so you're actually losing a card just for a little bit of card selection. And Frost Breath is also pretty terrible. I'm going to take Brink of Disaster just because it's the only one that might be relevant. Oh, a bear wheeled. Alright, I'm going to go for the bear. Why not? Yeah, this is all crap here. Piker, really? That was the worst one? Fascinating. Alright, so 1 pack to go. Do I need to hide anything else? Yeah, so really these are all playable. I'm just 2 cards shy of what I need to play, so really I can spend a lot of this pack just improving my cards, you know, hopefully upgrading maybe this bear, or this rock egg, or this kite shield with some good stuff. Okay, what is Call to the Grave? At the beginning of each player's upkeep. I don't think I'm definitely not gonna splash for that. Sphinx, not gonna splash for that either. Shock, now with my Manolith and my Rampant Growth, I could splash for Shock. I'm just not sure Shock is strong enough to be worth splashing for, because it's best in the early stages of the game, and by the time I can reliably get a mountain out there, the early game would have passed. Now I can get another trick, the Titanic Growth, which I really do like, or I can get Big Dude. I'm a big fan of these rhinos. Really big fan. I would love to have this guy instead of the Mastodon. But the thing is, that's pretty much what the rhino would be doing. It would be upgrading the Mastodon. I think I would straight up just play another Titanic Growth in this deck, because I really like the combat tricks, and there's nothing particularly strong here. I already have Naturalize, so I don't need Demystify. Really 1/1 out against artifacts should be enough. Oh yeah, and don't forget my Acidic Slime. So yeah, I'll take the trick here. I'm just a big fan of that. Okay, so life is difficult and painful, and oh my god, I want to cry. So this pack has a lot of good stuff. The Dungrove Elder is pretty much a bomb because he gets so huge and your opponents can't target him. So I guess he's better than the Troll, which is a great card, so I can at least rule that out. Pacifism is, you know, amazing. I already have 2 pacifisms and 2 lawkeepers, so all things considered, the question is, am I going to have enough forests? Like, how big is Dungrove Elder really going to get? Well, I'm equal on green and white right now, but I do have more green needs. So the Gideon's Lawkeepers do need white mana. But I think I could play with a lot of forests and make this guy the bomb that he deserves to be. And of course, there's also the Griffin to help make my Griffin Rider better, but that's unfortunately too marginal. I think I'm going to go for the huge dude. Unless pacifism... No, this guy is just too potentially big to pass up. Maybe this is wrong, but I would put him into bomb territory. I just really feel he's so strong. Okay, so several good things here. There's the Island Walker, and then red, which I'm not going to splash for because it's too... Well, that is a very good removal spell that I'm sad to see going so late. I'm going to go for the Griffin, though, another buddy for my Griffin Rider, and he's just really good on his own, so finally an easy pack pick. Alright, one thing I gotta say, I'm just so annoyed that this Pegasus is not a Griffin. It's a 2/1 that flies, it's got like a Griffin-like head. Is it a Griffin? No, it's a Pegasus. Now, I could splash for the Incinerate. Do I need more removal than 2 Lawkeepers and 2 Pacifisms? At the expense of making my Bantam base worse, having maybe fewer forests to make the Dungrove Elder. Yeah, I'll just let that Incinerate go, tragic as it is. I would be tempted by the Sleep, but I already got 2 Titanic Growth, so I'm happy to go for another Flyer, get in some early game damage. Alright, Overrun number 2. So that's the question. Can you play a deck with 2 Overruns? I just see myself, like, drawing them both in my opening hands and, like, never getting actually enough creatures to play them. So let's see here. I've got 16 creatures here. I do have a good creature concentration. I think I can hide this Kite Shield. My deck is good enough. I should not need to play it. I shouldn't need this Rock Egg. Even taking out the obvious crap, I still could play the Overrun. Of course, the Vanguard is nice. I just don't like the fact that, like, he can come out early, but if you don't get him in round 1, he's just a, he's just a 2/1. It's not a game changer the way that Overrun is, or the way that the Giant Spider can be with his blocking. I'm gonna get greedy. I'm gonna go for this Overrun, just having another. Hopefully they don't both come up in one game, and just act as an extra chance of drawing it, so I can blow my opponents out. All right, Mesa Enchantress. I can draw a card whenever I play Pacifism. Yeah, no thanks. Stab off. I guess it can really blow people out, but I just don't think it's that great. The Colossus is sort of lame. I think I'm going to take another Naturalize, just in case someone has tons of enchantments or something. Really, everything else here is so mediocre, I don't need to worry about it. Okay. So, the web here is another target for my Auramancer, and it's kind of like another sort of kind of maybe pacifism. Well, the alternative is that, I can get this nice blocker who can kill a flying creature. Usually, every deck is going to have a flying creature. I think I'm going to go for this. It's sort of removal, and I do kind of need some more kind of removal. Alright, pacifism... What is that? That wheel? What the... Okay, well, I'll take it now. Interesting, the Basilisk and is still here. Lure is kind of a weird card. I've always want to do it, but someone's like, there's always like better stuff out there. But yeah, pacifism, that's 3 of them, I guess. I'll take that. Alright, now we have another Rhino and another Spider. I really got to make a call here. So really my 4-drops are less in number than my 5-drops, which for curve's sake makes me want to take the Spider, especially because it's foily and shiny. I do like this trampling stuff, but really, I never actually did take one of these, did I? Always wanted to, but never quite got around to it. Ah, man. I think I'm going to go for the Spider. It's more defensive. It fits in my mana curve better, and I think I have enough offense. I'm just going to gamble that I have enough offense to make things work. And I get the big Griffin back, so my Griffin Rider has lots of buddies. Obviously, with only 1 Griffin Rider, I don't want to be too crazy with the Griffins. I don't even know if I really want to play 2 Peregrine Griffins. They're just defensive. But there's nothing else here, so might as well go for it. If I get really desperate, I can put them both in. Go all in on the Griffins. So, got defensive dude and offensive dude. I'm going to go for offensive dude. Although the 4 health matters more than you might think. I hope I'll be okay, though. I think I just want to keep swinging at people. Alright, I got another Plummet for the sideboard. Fog and Reclaim. Well, Fog, I don't really like to play Fog. It's just too situational. But it's still better than Reclaim, so I might use it. Alright, ended up with a lot of creatures. I have 31 things I haven't hidden, so it's going to be a little tricky building this deck. One of my weaknesses, though, I think is correct and proper deck building, especially my mana base. So those of you who are watching out there who know what the hell you're doing in draft, if you have advice on my mana base, please let me know. Alright, a lot of draft videos don't go through the process of making the deck, but I think I will, just to kind of try it out and see if you enjoy seeing that, or if you just rather prefer to see the final deck, let me know. So let's make sure I get in everything that's really important. I clearly want the Lawkeepers. I clearly want all the pacifisms. Now let me hold off on this Griffin Rider, see if I really need to go for that strategy. Pegasus is definitely great for lots of damage. The Oromancer, I think that's something I'd like to keep in the sideboard if they do start destroying my pacifisms. I guess it's possible that the creature will die somehow, like if the opponent Goblin Grenades or Flings something I have pacified, then I'd bring the Oromancer in, but I don't think that happens often enough for me to actually want to put it main. The Assault Griffins are great. I might take one of them out, but it's just solid. It's 3 damage and it flies. The Peregrine Griffin I'm going to hold off on. It's very defensive. If I want to go for the Griffin Rider because I don't have enough playables or something, but I'll hold off on it for now. I think I've got a lot of good stuff in green to get to. So we're going to go for the double overrun strategy. To help that out, I will chuck in this Manolith and the Rampant Growth. I clearly want the Elves. Plummet I'll keep in the sideboard. I want both of my combat tricks. The Titanic Growths. Naturalizes I'll keep in the sideboard. I want to try to make this Dungrove Elder work so I can have more forests than plains, and he can be a pretty big dude for just 3 mana. The Cudgel Troll for sure, because sometimes decks just can't deal with him. And the Luring Crocodile is good because I need more 3-drops. I bet there will be at least one flyer that I can kill with the Spider. And then this is risky because if the opponent doesn't have any enchantments or artifacts, this guy has a 2/2 for 5 that kills a land, which usually in draft is just not that big of a deal. But I'm gonna put him in. I'll take him out if I see no artifacts. But I am just it's kind of like I don't want to gamble on them having enchantments or artifacts and play a Naturalize and have that be dead in my hand. I don't mind a card that maybe sucks in my hand, but at least I can play it and have it impact the board in some way. And I do want to go for this Carnage Word. Maybe that's just totally horribly wrong, but I love that thing. It's just so gigantic. I got 3 cards to help me get it out there, so I just really want to go for it. And so here I need to put in 2 more cards now. I can put in the Bear for more early stuff. Really, I don't actually have anything to play on turn 2. It's just Combat Tricks removal, 1 bird, and then a Mana Fixer. So I could put it in for Mana Curve's sake. But honestly, with all these removals at the low end, I don't mind kind of trying to keep my opponent at bay while I get my bigger stuff online. So my choices here is I could either put in this Griffin Rider, and then maybe 1 more Griffin, and try to go for that. Or I can go for the Giant Spider for some more defense, and then maybe put the Griffin Rider in anyway, just to make my opponent sweat a little bit. Maybe bait their removal, because they're like, oh gosh, I don't want to let that guy sit around while a Griffin comes online. So maybe that is how I will hedge my bets. I'll put in the Giant Foil Spider, and then the Griffin Rider. Now I need to check my colors, so I do still have more green than white, so I can justify playing more forests than plains. And yeah, I think that's how I want to do it. So let's add some land. This is where I don't know. Let's see what MTGO suggests. 11 forests, 6 plains? Oh, that seems good. So I might have a little bit of a tough time using the Lawkeeper's ability and playing my next white spell, but all my white spells are just a single white, and this is the only guy that requires white mana on activation. I do have the Manolith to help out. So yeah, 11 forests and 6 plains hopefully gives me a stable enough mana base while still allowing me to get the most out of the Dungrove Elder, who has been good for me before, so I'm definitely eager to give him a shot. If I do have a shaky mana base, I might throw another plains in there. Even the Lawkeeper doesn't necessarily need to come out on turn 1, that's just nice, but he can come out later in the game, and that's still fine. Alright, so let's give this a shot. I'm going to submit the deck, and again, the replays I'm going to do, or the games themselves I'm not going to do live, I'm going to do them with the replay feature. I went on the forums on MTG Salvation and found out there is a way to actually get the replays to come up reliably, so I'm going to hopefully not mess that up, and the games themselves will be coming to you shortly. Till then,